Hello Aries, I am Ulrich, I'm a Lenormand card reader, and today we will do the financial card reading for the sign of Aries for the month of January. As always, we will do 4 card readings for the sign of Aries, and these are based on the natural elements in your astrological chart, or for some of you, on your time of birth. These basic elements are air, earth, water, and fire. Now, the 4 objects that you always see on my table are directly connected to those elements. So you choose or you pick one that you think relates most to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice, it should or it will relate the best to your current situation. However, if the related video and the object does not match your first choice, please check the other videos that are immediately connected in the same session. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. Anyway, the matches represent the fire element, the stone represents the earth element, the aerosol sprayer represents the air element, and the shell represents the water element. Also, I want to add, if you have questions, you can always post them in the comments below. So Aries, here we go for your financial card reading for the month of January. Hello Aries, and welcome to the shell or the water group for your philosophical financial card reading. As your first card here, we see the card of the ancestors. What does this card mean? Well, actually it makes us think that about the living conditions that we have right now. If we compare with our grandparents here, or even our great-grandparents, who also made it possible. They implemented certain rules, they changed certain regulations for changing into our current society. So if we compare ourselves to them, and we think about it for a while, we will maybe see that we are not so bad off after all. Mostly these people lived with one salary on a big family. They lacked sometimes important things in their life, even if they were in retirement. Sometimes there was not enough money, but that were the life circumstances. Maybe here, if you reflect on it, you think that others or your grandparents were better off of you, but this card tells us that we actually need to stop this way of thinking here. Their generation was very different compared to us, and most of them were very, but they also had no choice. They were very contented what they had, because it was the time that were the current times at that time. Anyway, we need to also see here that they had no access to credit cards. They were paid according to what they earned, and they didn't have more. There was no access to credit cards, so they could not go below 0 for their money. Also, the perspectives for the future, there were no exotic trips to be made. They could not travel. There were no exotic herbs, no herbs to try out, because there was simply no money for it. Mostly the focus was on maintaining the children, and of course the ability to stay in the house. So there was a very strong focus here at those during those times on the payments of the house. Anyway, it's in general for most people here, or for a large group of people here, the reverse situation, as we know now, and those things were not, they could not even imagine the situation or the circumstances we are living today. Anyway, in general, it means that we cannot compare our comfortable situation to those people, and there is no possible parallel. This also applied on the current times. A lot of people in the current times are living in difficult conditions due to the viruses that are put upon us. This is a worldwide crisis that is put upon us, and a lot of people are in serious difficulties. They lost their job due to these circumstances. So if you reflect on them, it's a very difficult situation for a lot of people here. Some even have no food anymore, because they lost their job, especially in countries where the social circumstances are very low. Anyway, if you reflect on this situation, you will see this card tells us that you are not so bad off after all. The second card here is that you probably start to improve in your life. Certain investments and efforts that you made in your life, they bring to give certain fruits here. You probably see this in your daily actions, that certain things are getting more easy for you. You see certain changes here, you see certain results. Probably you work hard, because this is also a card of hard work. And mostly this means that this card, that the people appreciate the small victories they have accomplished in their life. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are successful to the whole society, but this is about yourself here. We need to see the positive transformations that you have made over the last months, or maybe the last years here, and you are able here to apply those changes. But this is also a card of questions. It asks you, what do you have on the long term? Can you make changes? Can you still make improvements here? Maybe here, this card sometimes also, it's making positive changes for us, in the way that if certain things don't work in our life anymore, maybe we need to cut them off. If it's still working, it's fine. But if you see that it's no longer working for you, maybe you need to do certain modification. This is what this card is also about. If it's hard for you to change certain things, also we cannot be discouraged here, because maybe for now, a lot of us are in a difficult path here. But here, if you want to see things in a different angle, sometimes it's wise also to write certain things down. Meaning, if you have accomplished certain things over the last months or over the last years, write that down. Look at it, where you come here. It's not important how big these changes is, but it will give you a clear overview of where you are now. There are no small, there are no big successes here. It's just an amalgamation of all these changes here that will create a lasting change and that make a difference in your eyes. Here, you are the one who perceives this, so it's important in your eyes here. What is important here with this card is that you appreciate the progress that you have made, and you need to think how you will proceed and how you get further and positive out more your situation. So this card tells us to persevere in our life. The last card that we have here is the card of food. What does this card tell us? Well, it tells us maybe that we need to change certain food habits. Maybe we need to eat more healthier. Maybe we need to take care of our body here. We live in a hectic world here, and maybe this is also the card of takeout foods. So probably here this group of people, they spend a lot on takeout foods. Sometimes it means that we overspend on takeouts. Also meals who are pre-prepared that we buy in the supermarket because it's easy and it's convenient. But here this card tells us that maybe we should reflect on that. Maybe we should take care of our body, because our body is our vehicle. It brings us everywhere. If no body, well, the merry-go-round stops. So we need to take care of our body here. Because our body is our vehicle, it brings us everywhere where we need to be, and we live in it. So we needed to move around. Anyway, I know, I'm aware it's easy to buy in takeouts, to order in the restaurant, to order gourmet dish, but this card tells us here maybe you should reflect on buying fresh vegetables, fresh foods, healthy food here. Anyway, sometimes also this point, we work hard and we have little time, but here this card tells you that you should find a balance here and reduce the takeout meals. Here it tells us that probably here you have probably no more time, and there is no more time for pots and pans. There is no more time for home cooking, but related to it is also the expenses. If we order takeout, it costs money. If you make here the paper, just when you do that, at the same time, just calculate how much you spend on takeouts, and probably you will be surprised how much you spend here. So if we always order out, well, it gives us, of course, by the end of the month, a hefty bill. So this is why this card is here. So this card asks us to break the chain of overspending in the months to come and plan more home cooking. You don't do that in a rush, but here this card asks us to plan it in the near future and eat more healthy. Here this card asks us to learn to enjoy the culinary art. You will eat better, you will feel healthier, and of course the the purpose of this card is that we are financially better off. So Aries, this is all for the water group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short financial card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit your role, please check the other three that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the four will fit you. Anyway, Aries, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, and I thank you for doing so. Bye-bye, Aries. Thank you. Hello Aries, and welcome to the Aerosol or the Air group for your short financial philosophical card reading for the month of January. As the first card here, we see the card of accomplishments or achievements. So it means that we are progressing in our life. Probably you've done some efforts in the last months or maybe even in the last years, and you see about there are changes in your life. You see that there are results of your hard work or the time you put in. And this card tells us also that we need to appreciate those modest victories or this progress that we have. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are completely successful in relationship to the whole society, but that is not the point of this card. The point is here that you progress yourself and that you are happy with the progress that you have made so far. Also, this card tells us that we cannot compare ourselves to others. We are all unique individuals here, but we need to see here the positive side of the transformations that we have been able to apply on a regular basis, and that brought us in a more prosperous current situation. But this is also the card of questions. There are some questions related to this card. And this card asks us also if you have a long-term plan. Can you make some changes for even improving yourself here? If you look at your situation, is there things that you need to cut off, that you need to let go, that are no longer working for you? Are there changes, because else this card would not be here, are there changes that you can make for yourself or modifications so you can even progress yourself even more? This card asks you that also. If your path in life that you have been taking for the last years has been difficult for a lot of us now, the last years have been difficult here with these things that are happening in the world. But this card tells us also not to be discouraged. It means also that you're progressing here, but sometimes also we should not be discouraged here. If you cannot see clearly and you think you did not improve, this card tells you the reverse. It tells you that you are improved in whatever way in your life. But if you cannot see it yourself, sometimes we need to take a piece of paper. We need to compare our situation. So compare yourself where you were 1 year ago, 5 years ago, see what you've did, and you will see there is progress, because else this card would not be here. Sometimes this progress is for everyone. This progress will be different, but there are no small or big successes here. Rather, it's an amalgamation of changes that create a lasting change for us. This is the purpose of this card, and the importance is not in your brother, your sister, or somebody else's eyes. It's about in your eyes, how you perceive it, not others, not the neighbors. It has nothing to do with you. It's you here who need to observe this information, and you need to see that you have progress. Also, this card tells us even the progress is not enormous. There are changes here. Appreciate this progress that you have been made. Some people will make with this card will make a lot of progress. Others, it's moderate, but there is progress, because else this card would not be here. Anyway, this means that this card, you're still on the way to even getting more. So you will get there, but you need to keep persevering here. This is what we are seeing here. And you need to appreciate the way, the road you have gone, and how far you have come so far. The next card is that we are lucky in our life, that we are loved from the people around us here. Probably you yourself, you love your children dearly. Also, there mostly this points to good relationship here. Anyway, it means also that we give a lot of affection to the people around us that we love, our close family here. But also this is a card of questions. probably means this card that you show the affection maybe in the wrong way. What is the wrong way? Well, it means that you spoil them with presents, with gifts. Sometimes also we give them amounts of money here. We buy them dinner at a restaurant, and we do this all to express our feelings by way giving them a gift for balancing ourselves out. And mostly this points that there is something that need to be adjusted. And also probably with birthdays, holidays coming up, or whatever it is that is important, something is coming up here. And here we see here that we are about to search something also probably in the future for a rare pearl. So if you give them this other gift, their eyes shine again. But here we see with this card that actually the love is already there, the appreciation is already there from the people around us, and this actually cannot be bought. Here we see that rather than shopping around in a mall how to please your loved ones, here we need to take and we need to give them actually the most precious gift of all. And it might come as a surprise to you, but it costs you actually nothing. But it's the gift that is most appreciated of all, and that is your time. Here we are asked to give time to our loved ones. Here you need to show them your value by giving them your time and not by buying them presents. We need to see here that the best memories that we care with those around us, we carry that in the rest of our life. And this is mostly related to stupid anecdotes, funny things that are happening, past activities that we did with loved ones and people around us. But it doesn't come from objects, toys, anything here. So be gentle here with yourself and see the positive impact that will come from it if you spend time with the people around you. It will not only benefit you for the depth of your relationship, but also it will help you financially to improve here more. So think wise about that and see the positive impact and deepen your relationship out with those around you, and it will benefit both parties. The last card that we see here is the card of heritage. What does this mean? Well, here it means that we probably don't think too much about the future. Sometimes Aries lives in the moment, and here we see the horizon, but we never know what is coming here. And here this card tells us if you have ever reflected or thought about the future, meaning the budget that you will need as you get older. If you think you will manage there, maybe this card tells you not so. This card tells you to see things as a reality. If we think in a utopian way and we think that everything will be okay, it's actually a dangerous plan. Sometimes this tells us that maybe we rely on our parents for certain monies, people around us maybe help us, but in your old age, it might not help you on the long run. If you expect this now, currently, which is possible also, this card also tells us to be careful with those calculations, unless they are already unfit here, and also we have not read their will. So we are not sure that actually everything is coming to us and that we are their sole heir, or even you and your sister. There could be somebody else involved here, and we are not sure about this till they have left the earth here and their last breath is passed. So don't make this mistake. Does this card here and be prepared. Anyway, we also need to add that the life expectancy from most people around us, it has exploded here over the last decades, and our parents, as we will likely live much longer than their ancestors. There is a lot of facilities now. We are more accommodated. There's more medication. There are more means for keeping us longer alive. And as we and they get older, you and them, you may gradually need all your savings, and they will also, for certain services suited to their age. And of course, we cannot blame them, and nobody will blame us also. Secondly, we all have the right to change our will. So, or our testamentary dispositions. We can do that at any time. And we never know that our mother, father, they will not succumb to the young Venus living next door, or Cupid they met on the internet, or they will not decide to favor a neighbor, all at the expenses of the descendant. So we need to be careful here if we have this card. An inheritance, it can be a plan, it can be an addition to a retirement plan or for investments, but nonetheless, it should be treated very carefully. This is what this card tells us here. So plan your old days or your investments independently, and you will come out as a winner. So Aries, this is all for the air group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other three that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the four will fit you. Also, I want to thank you for your time. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, Aries, and I thank you for that. Thank you and bye-bye for now. Hello, Aries, and welcome to the Stone or the Earth group for your financial philosophical card reading for the month of January. As the first card here, we see a well-organized charity. What does this card tell us? Well, it probably tells us that we are a charitable type, that we have a big heart for others, we give things to others, we take pleasure in spoiling, mostly this points that we are spoiling our loved ones, the people around it. But this card tells us also to reflect over things. If you think about it, was the last toy, for instance, I'm just giving an example here, that you gave to your children or you accepted it, was this really necessary? Maybe the last doll that you gave to your niece, was this really necessary to buy this expensive brand? This is what this card is about. Will your nephews love you less if you pamper them so much, or your children here? This is what we are talking about here. Here this card tells us we need to know the real impact that this has on our budget, of course, and of course, immediately, directly, it's connected to our daily life and our daily budget. It means this card, if this card is here, it means that the charity, your good heart in general, it has an effect on your lifestyle. So here it tells us that well-ordered charity, it starts by itself. This is a known proverb, but also it teaches us an important lesson here when it's about spending money. Here, this card tells us if your good heart and your generosity, it leads to certain problems, or if it contributes to financial distress, it has no place in your life. So this card tells us before we give to others, we need to secure our own future, because we see the card of time next to it, and it means that you are in a certain time frame. Anyway, here we are asked, it means that time is not our friend. And here we are asked to build up a safety cushion for yourself. And you need to ask, do you have a safety cushion for yourself? And we are asked here to stimulate our own future rather than spending or squandering money for surpluses from everyday travia or gifts to other people or to loved ones. Here we need to be able to remove the essential from the unnecessary. Here we need to go back to basics. If you do so, you will be able, because this is a good card if you use it right, if you do so, you will be able to establish a certain wallet who will allow you to maintain healthy generosity. It doesn't mean you cannot give anything anymore. This is not what this card is about. The card is to give in a healthy way, and it don't affect your budget. You can also be, as the last card here tells us, you can be creative. You can be creative with your money, but we will come there later. The next card that we are seeing here is the card of time. It tells us that time is not our friend. Time is ruled by Saturn, and in general, Saturn is not our friend. Why is it not our friend? Well, maybe we have accumulated certain problems in our life, and if we don't attend these problems, mostly it's financially, there could come consequences of this. Anyway, it tells us that if we wait, this will have the reversed effect. It could make our situation worse if we have certain open standing debts, if we need to balance certain monies out. For instance, if we have a credit card, I just give the example of the credit card, and this credit card is not balanced out, Well, you are aware that you pay interests on that. These companies, they are not your friend. They are there for business. So it means this card that are you see the clock here on top of the money. It means that you make these people earn money. So here you need to balance this out here. Here it tells us also we cannot ignore the problem. We cannot put our head in the sand here, because it will not improve our situation. This card tells us to take charge here. You cannot let you be overrun by this situation. You need to take the reins in your own hand here, and you need to control the situation. That is the positive side of Saturn. You need to take control here. You must take charge of this situation. So don't wait on a holiday here. Don't wait on a bonus. It will only make your situation less positive here, and we only will go deeper in these two difficulties, and we need to be creative with what we have. Here this card tells us also that there is no perfect timing for adjusting, but here this card tells us now this is the time to act. We need to secure ourselves financially, at least on this group here, and probably you need to change radically certain habits that led. If you're in a difficult situation or in an uncomfortable situation, you need to take care of this situation, because probably it led to the point where you are now. I don't say this is not a disastrous card, but it tells us that we need to analyze it here. We need to, for instance, you take a piece of paper, a pencil, and you analyze your situation. Here we need to take the reins of our budget back in hand here, and we need to rush towards more sustainability here. You do that one step at a time here, and you will see that your overall situation will improve. Then the last card that we have here is the card of creativity. What does this card tells us here? Well, it tells us in the world that we are currently living, online or not online, we can order everything that is available in our society. But sometimes also this suffocates our creativity. This points that mostly the point that this group of people here are quite creative, but they probably, due to circumstances, are not creative enough. Sometimes it means this card that we pay for our lack of creativity. So I will give you here an example here. For instance, if there's a birthday coming up, because here we see that we are probably confronted with some expenses for friends, people who we love, that we need to give certain gifts here. And if you think about it, this card tells us you need to pack those gifts. We are aware of that. And probably we shop around for a storage box, but instead of shopping around for the storage box, you probably have some things in your house, and with some recycled materials, you probably could make something that is very cheap or that don't cost you anything around. You probably have some things there for making ribbons here, but if we buy the box, it costs us a lot of money. Anyway, if there is some things coming up, for instance, the son's birthday, the daughter's, whatever, here we see that with a little bit of eventness, we could prepare, for instance, a party for them where everybody has a lot of fun, but you do the cooking yourself. That's another example. For instance, you bake the cake yourself. If this card is here, it means that you have certain abilities for baking, for cooking. So here with this card here, it tells us originality is the order of the day. So here we literally need to start thinking out of the box here and ask yourself if you really need to shop around, or if you can be inventive yourself. Could you do things in a different way? So take some time off here today, just reflect over it. It don't cost you not thinking about, it cost you nothing here, and see what you can do yourself here by being creative, cooking yourself, making some presents yourself, use recycled materials for packing it. There's a lot of opportunities here for saving money here with this card. Anyway, we need to make room here for our imaginative spirit in the kitchen, in the office, with the loved ones here. So embark on this adventure that will make your life cheaper. So Aries, this is all for the Stone Group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this philosophical financial card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 that are connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, and I thank you for doing so. Thank you, Aries, and bye-bye for now. Hello, Aries, and welcome to the matches or the fire group for your short financial philosophical card reading for the month of January. As the first card here, we see the card of bonus. It means that you are probably have some savings, that you received something, that you received a present, a gift here, or you're about to receive it here. Mostly, this could be that this is your annual bonus that comes in January, it depends all. Anyway, it points that we received a certain gift. It can also mean that it's a gift of our parents, that we are receiving a gift at work here. But anyway, we received something here that makes our life easier, or we are about to receive it. Anyway, the question here, this card is a card also of questions. It asks us, what is your plan with this money? Mostly with this card, this is the other side of the card here. It tells us here that sometimes we tend to spend the money before it even arrived. There are several examples here I can give. For instance, if we have accumulated certain debts on credit cards, maybe you already incalculated that. It's possible also that you incalculate that in a gem for your wife, in a present for your children, in something that makes you relax. But this card tells you to reflect wisely about that. Instead of buying certain gifts or balancing certain things out, here we see with this card here that instead of spending it this time, we should maybe let it for a while in our savings account. And maybe we should do some thinking about it, because I think this is a substantial amount here that we are having. So if we have certain small things that we need to pay, I understand here this card tells us, but there is money left, there will be left. And the money that is left here, we need to think smart about that money. Instead of spending it here, we should let it in our savings account, maybe for 3 weeks, maybe for 6 weeks, maybe for a few months, and think what we actually need to do with this money. We should take here a break from spending. So think exactly what you are going to do with this money and optimize its use from it. If you think about it, you will avoid the impulse of immediate spending and getting, maybe you need it for the future here. This is what we are seeing here, because here we have creative cards. So it means we need to balance certain things out in our life. So it's best here, this card advises us, if we can keep the bonus that we are about to receive, keep it in the savings account, because maybe some things might pop up. The next card that we have here is the card that we need to accept our current situation. Sometimes it points also that we have a lot of ambition in our life, which is positive here. We look for a higher position because it comes with pay raises, with more money. Maybe we are very focused on certain promotions in our life. But this card also tells us here that if we earn money, it's not only about earning money, it's also by managing our money. It's actually related to the first card. And here this card tells us that it's imperative here that we manage our financial conditions. This is not necessarily related to more income, but it's living with the means that you have right now. So here we see that we all can aspire to the American dream, if it still exists for now, and we all can aspire to the dream of abundance and wealth, but we are also aware of the current situation. Anyway, I mean with the global troubles. Anyway, the point here of this card is here that we need to keep ourselves away for financially spending too much money. Also, this card tells us maybe your happiness is already there, because happiness is not necessarily associated with a lot of money. I'm aware we need to cover our basics. We need to live, we need to eat, we need warmth, or we need aircon, it depends, or we need a ventilator, depends on the place where we are living. But here we see that we need to accept our current situation. And also we need to remember that there are always people that are better off than we. But also the reverse, there are people that are worse off, especially in current conditions. A lot of people sometimes end up on the street. They have no more food because of the current conditions anyway, meaning a lot of people are poorer. The bottom line is here, it's not what we earn that matters, but it's how we manage our sources of income. So here we need to make a good balance. This is the card of balance here. We need to make a balance between our income and our expenses. So whatever your income might be, it's the way you spend money that will determine where you end up. Whether you're short of money or not, you're the one in control. So this card asks us to spend money within the means that we have and not focusing on additional or more money. We need to accept our situation as it is, and we need to be creative, which is the next card here. We need to be creative with the money that we are having here. We live in a world here where we can buy everything. If we cannot buy it directly in the store, we buy it online. Everything is available. The order is made in a few minutes here. We don't even need to leave the house here. But sometimes if we always order or we always buy, it suffocates also our imagination, our creativity. And in the end, for instance, we pay for the lack of creativity. I'm going to give simple examples here. For instance, a birthday is coming up from a relative, maybe from your children, or something is coming up that costs you money. You need to pack this gift here, and probably if you want, you shop around in the mall for finding the ideal storage, the beautiful storage box here for the gift that you are about to present to those people. And it takes you probably several hours to accomplish this task of finding this box. But this card tells us, instead of roaming around in the mall, maybe there are some things in your house that you can make a storage box, for instance, yourself. With some recycled materials, you can come up with some ribbons here, and probably you can make up something creative in a few hours that is much more creative and that don't cost you a small fortune, for instance, for a certain box that you're about to buy. For instance, if it's the birthday of your son or something is come up with your daughter, there's something to celebrate here. With a little bit inventiveness, we could prepare a party for them. We could bake the cake ourselves here. We could prepare the food here ourselves. This means that the creativity is inside of us, but we need to apply it here. And we will, of course, not have the astronomical bill of takeout foods or things that are already prepared in the mall. Here, the originality and creativity is the order of the day. So here we are asked to start to think out of the box and see what are the real needs here. Can you make some changes here? So take some time off today to think about the presents that you are about to buy or the gifts that you are about to give, and think what you could do by being more creative and saving more money. This is what we are seeing here. Here we are asked to make room for our imaginative spirit in your kitchen. Sometimes also it applies on our work, but especially in management of money and management of buying certain gifts. So this card asks us to embark on the creative adventure. So Aries, this is all for the fire group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical financial card reading. If this card reading don't fit your all, please check the other 3 that are connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 that are connected here fit you. Anyway, Aries, I want to thank you for your time. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. And we see each other in my other videos. Thank you for your time, Aries, and bye-bye for now.